today's session, I will be taking you through one of my signature programs that I created 3 years ago, and I've been running it over 1,000 times now.
Recording in progress.
And so through this class, which is called M3, we go through some mobility exercises that includes breath work, and then we do movement and strength work, and then we finish it with a gentle meditation and mindfulness practice at the end. So obviously this is a sample. I picked the exercises that I believe is supportive to everybody because I don't see all of you. I don't know where you're coming from, but you are the best person who lives in your body. So if something doesn't feel good, please, this is your permission slip not to do it. I try to create as many modifications as possible, but if something doesn't feel right, please avoid it completely. So before I start getting on the mat and we start moving, I want to talk about the breathing practice that we will be incorporating into our routine today. We start with take a breath in, and as if you're surrendering to your exhale, let your exhale come out. Again, inhale. Good. Now I want you to take the softest inhale you've ever taken. Think about an inhale as like a ninja inhale. There is no motion in the neck, there is no motion in the shoulder. Let it be as soft as you possibly can let it be. And exhale. So I know you've got your cameras off, but you can always give me a thumbs up, even if I don't see you, if you feel the difference when you breathe softly and when you are creating that forceful breath. Like imagine that you're letting the breath move through you and you're doing the breathing as effortlessly as possible. So I want you to do it a few more times, like let the breath be really, really soft. If I was right beside you, I wouldn't hear your inhale, and allow the exhale to be audible. Let it go. Good. So now, if it's available to you, have your hands around your ribs. So index finger in the front and thumbs behind you. So I want you to start breathing in and feel like, what would your breath feel like and look like if you didn't let the belly expand, rather your ribs expand into your hands, both forward into your index finger, backwards into your thumbs, and to the side. Okay? So give yourself a nice soft inhale. See if you can create that expansion. You might want to close your eyes as if you're doing a breath assessment for yourself, seeing what moves, what doesn't, and then surrender yourself to your exhale. Good. Again, inhale. With every breath, see if you can expand. Maybe if the left back rib doesn't expand, can you expand it with your breath a little bit more? And then exhale. Continue allowing the inhale to be as soft as you possibly can make it. Again, one more. So now we're going to add another layer to this, which is your exhale. So we're going to inhale softly, and then imagine as if you have a balloon on your lips and you're blowing into that balloon. I want you to keep that exhale as consistent as you possibly can make it. Ideally, we want to the end of the session, I want you to get into 8 seconds exhale as comfortably as possible. But we are in different parts of our journeys. So if you get into 4 seconds exhale comfortably and you feel empty, that's all good. Otherwise, we want to expand that exhale capacity as much as possible. So we inhale again. Exhale. You get to a point that you feel your rib is coming in, you find that core integration, maybe it goes all the way down into your pelvis, and that's all I want, okay? So again, inhale. Remember, if you actually filled up a balloon, so you had to put a little bit extra effort for the balloon to start expanding, right? So I want that exhale to be full and extended as much as possible. So let's do 2 more before we start the session. So inhale, feel that expansion of the rib, exhale. One more. So as we continue doing this, I want you to find more and more and more core integration. If there is one takeaway from today's session, it would be incorporating these breathing practices into your routine, even if it's 5 reps a day, and try to expand that, learn to softly inhale and expand that exhale as much as possible, and find that grace moment between your full exhale and when you transition to your nice inhale. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if you're on track with the breathing. I pretend that I see all of you, that you've got your cameras off. So we're going to start. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Yes, good. So now we're going to get into our backs. I try my best to show in different angles so you can see as best as possible. So start lying down on your back, feet on the ground. And then we're going to have our right arm in an L shape like this. Or if you don't have the shoulder range of motion, have it wide open. I don't want you to feel tensed up. So if you feel tense, but you're forcing yourself to be in this position, please don't. Open up. I want you to be as relaxed as possible. And then create a nice reach on the left towards the ceiling. So now we're going to incorporate the same breathing. Soft inhale, nice long exhale. Again, find that grace moment. Seal your lips right away. Inhale through the nose, but soft. And give yourself a nice exhale. We are here for a few more reps of breath. Take your time. It doesn't matter how many you do, as long as you do at least 2 with as much intention as you can cultivate. So soft inhale. One last one. Nice work. The reason we're in this position is we want to create some space behind our heart to be able to breathe into that space. We naturally are not able to breathe back in the back of our heart as much as we can do on the right. So now we're going to get into the same position, but think about you're beginning to pull your heels towards your bum. And as you begin pulling those heels towards your bum, automatically your hamstrings become activated. If you don't feel your hamstring, then feel free to move your legs a little bit further away. That's completely okay too. What I want you to feel is like feeling the back of your legs in this position. Begin pulling towards yourself. And at the same time, feel like you're holding an object between your legs very gently. You don't want to let your legs fall out. We want to still use those inner thighs as much as possible. But I don't want you to have them collapse. Think about you have a ball between your legs and you're holding it. So we begin pulling the feet towards ourselves. The feet doesn't move. We're just pulling it, driving it, and finding that hamstring firing up as much as possible. So in this position now, my hip bones are pointing up towards the ceiling. I want you to think about, you want to point them almost towards yourself, or maybe in an angle. So think about you're tucking your butt right under you. Now the activation in your hamstring and the back of your legs increase massively. So you're going to hold that with as much intention as you can cultivate. Feel free to take a break. I know you almost don't move, but there are a lot of things moving. So now create that reach if this feels comfortable. If you feel like this is too much, then have your hands down on the ground. But if you feel like you're good, create that reach. Now we're going to incorporate the breathing here. Soft inhale, finding that expansion into the side of your ribs, and give yourself a nice exhale. Can you let that rib come down and in? Can you feel your core in a new way? So soft inhale again. Nice exhale. One more here. You can let everything go. If you actually stick with me through the breathing, it must have felt a lot, and also it's all good. Take a second here for a quick rest. We're going to do that one more time. If you feel spicy at this point, you can go a little bit harder, maybe activate your hamstring a little bit more. Do your exhale a little bit more intentional. So we're reaching up, Hold, again, drive those heels towards yourself. Shine that light on your hips towards yourself. Create that reach. Hold that imaginary object between your legs. Now we're going to softly inhale and nice long exhale. Let's do 2 more here. Soft inhale. When you're completely empty, I encourage you to find that grace moment. You're not rushed to take another inhale. Let that inhale to continue remaining really, really soft. One last one here. And a slow drop, relax. Good work, everybody. So now we're gonna lie down on our sides like this. So here is where our cushions come handy. I know in the description, I should have reviewed that, but I forgot. So if you've got cushions around, please grab them. If you have a yoga block, that could work as well. So I want you to be as comfortable as possible. So you either gonna have your hands like underneath your head, or grab your cushion or your yoga mat so you feel as comfortable as possible, okay? So we're gonna stay here and we create a nice reach and we start breathing into our upper back, and again we want to stick with our expansion as much as possible, feeling our ribs expanding, and we're giving ourselves a nice solid exhale. Inhale. Good. One more. Good. So now I'm going to take this up a notch. If you have shoulder pain and this doesn't feel good, I encourage you to stay in this position and create that reach and continue with your inhale and exhale, okay? You could even, in this position, go straight in the bottom leg and get yourself even more comfortable. I want you to feel everything expanding in the bottom layer, and as you exhale, I want you to feel your rib come down as if you want to have it meet your pelvis in this position, like this. One more. So your goal is to get your ribs close on the exhale, and on the inhale you're expanding your rib, okay? So this is for those who've got shoulder issues, okay? For those of you who've been working out more regularly and you feel a little bit spicy to do that, so you're going to create a reach in this position. You're going to press your forearm down to the ground and move yourself away from the ground. Create that reach. Make sure your leg position is in a completely square. So I don't want you to be far out or closed like this. You're going to be right here in the front, like 90-degree on the knees, and we're creating that reach. So we're here for a nice soft inhale, and then we press the hand down to the ground and move ourselves up here. And then the top hip begins rotating slightly in as we push ourselves away from the ground and creating that reach. So we're here for 2 reps of breath only, okay? So soft inhale, full exhale. We want to get those side abs working massively. Once again, thinking your rib coming down and in to meet your pelvis. So the top hip is right over the bottom hip. I don't want you to be open like this. You're going to be right stacked on top of one another. Soft inhale, nice exhale. And then we slowly drop everything down. Good. So now we're going to go on to the other side. I hope everybody is doing well. So we're going to go to the other side. So again, make sure your neck is comfortable. So we're going to start with the bottom leg is lying and the top leg is flipping over. You create that reach. We're going to be here for a few breaths. Again, for those of you who've got shoulder stuff going on, stay in this position. It's going to feel so nice for your shoulder. Breathe in into that ribs and give yourself a nice exhale. One more. feel on the exhale everything integrating in your core. And you either stay in this position or we're going to get into that 90 leg positioning, reaching and lifting up, making sure I'm rotating that top hip forward and I'm pressing myself away from the ground as much as possible, and we're here for 2 breaths only. So do your best to get yourself into the longest exhale you possibly can. We want to get those deeper core muscles working here in this position. So 1 more breath here. Nice work. And then you can slowly drop. If you want to grab a sip of water, do that. This is a great time to do it. And then we're going to flip over to the other side. So we're going to have our knee once again in a fully 90-degree position. This time we want to work on our hip internal rotation. The part of our leg that is responsible for a lot of the strength that we cultivate. Probably you've seen a lot of these exercises. This is working the external rotation, but we want to work on what is it that brings the leg inward, and it's going to be very fun. So we're starting in a 90-90 position. Once again, make sure you're not far out. You're right here in the middle. If I draw a line, it's going to be right straight right here, straight right there, okay? And then the top hand is going to go right in the front, and you're pressing the ground away from you. The reason we're doing this is we're creating a lot of upper back space for the breath to go a little bit more easily, okay? So you're pressing that hand down to the ground and move your chest away from your hand. And now give yourself a nice soft inhale and a nice long exhale. Good. So now think about you're lifting only the lower leg, part of the top leg, up towards the ceiling. Okay? So very gently, you start lifting, lifting, lifting until you hit a wall. Maybe your wall is here. That's cool. Maybe your wall is a little bit higher up. Or maybe you're faking it by hiking your hip. I don't want that to happen. The range is not too big, so when you hit that wall, I want you to hold it against that wall, okay? So I don't want you to feel any pain. If you're feeling pain, then you're using things that are not supposed to be using. So then make your range a little bit smaller. But if you feel good and you feel the burn and everything, so start holding in that position and feel like as if you want to move the wall a little bit further away. So keep pressing that wall a little bit further away. You might feel some cramps going on the side. It's all great. Allow the breath to continue remaining as soft as possible. And then you slowly drop it down. Good. So let's do that one more time. Slow lift up. Maybe this time you're hitting the wall a little bit further up. It feels activating. You're getting everything moving. You're forcing the ground away from you as hard as you can. Feel like you're moving the wall a little bit further away. Keep going. We're here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly down. Nice work. Give me a thumbs up if you actually found this side by working crazy. Maybe if you're too far from the camera, it's okay. So let's go to the other side. So we're going to do the same thing, but first we're going to set up our position. So 90 degrees on the knee, 90 degrees on the hip. Arm on the front. We are pushing the ground away from ourselves to create that space for the breath to take the path of least resistance here. It's really important. I want the breath to be as easeful as possible. So take a nice deep breath in and we slowly start lifting the lower leg until we hit a wall. But remember, we are not hiking the hip. We're keeping everything relaxed. And then we're only moving the lower leg until you hit the wall. And now think about you're pushing that wall away. You're doing a lot of activation work, creating a lot of force, thinking as if you're letting your whole body support you in creating this activation. Keep pushing that wall away. We're here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slow down. Good. So let's go for one more. Take a soft breath in. Slowly go up until you hit that wall. See if you can move that wall a little bit further away. Keep going, a little bit harder, just a little bit harder. Okay, we are here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Slow drop. Good. If you want to grab a sip of water, do that. Slowly come out, and we're going to be meeting in a standing position. I hope everybody is doing well so far. Good. So maybe you can move around. Maybe you feel a lot more loosened up in your hips. So we're going to come up into a standing position. So think about, like, if you were out on a walk, how big your step would be. I don't want you to be this big. Maybe this big is good. Okay? So have a look at your feet. I want you to make sure your feet are fully parallel when you look down. Okay? And then the back of your heel, if I was going to draw a line, it almost meets my big toe. Okay? So think about you're presenting, or you're tucking your butt under you and presenting your hip forward. So originally we start having our body weight fully distributed between our legs. So let's say if I have 60 kg, then 30 kg in the front, 30 kg in the back. I want you to feel fully balanced here. Okay? So, and then as you continue feeling solid on your feet, you start presenting that hip a little bit more forward. Okay? And then think about as if I'm pulling you up towards the ceiling. You're creating a nice length towards the ceiling. And give yourself, as you're standing in this position, give yourself a nice exhale. I'll roll my hand like this so you see what happens. I give myself a nice exhale. I find that core, and automatically my body starts feeling a lot more centered. Okay? So I want you to give yourself a nice exhale and find that center for yourself, whatever that means to you today. Okay? We can always optimize what center means to us, but for today, let your core show you what that might look like. So again, nice inhale, full exhale out. And then now we're going to create a reach. Once again, we want to create space for our breath to go into our upper back. And then slowly think about the front heel is fully screwed down to the ground, really screwed, as strong as possible. Okay? And then we slowly think about moving our body weight more forward to the front foot. For those of you who've got knee issues, I want you to stay in the pain-free range, and if you feel it right away, I want you to get even heavier on the heel, and then from there start putting more weight on the front foot. Okay? So we continue holding in this position. If you feel comfortable, you can go even more forward, but remember, we want to have our whole foot on the ground. We call it foot tripod. The place right underneath your pinky, right underneath your big toe, and your heel. Okay, we want to have that tripod solid on the ground. So now we're breathing into that upper back, and give yourself a nice full exhale. So think about as if you're pressing the ball of your foot down to the ground, as if you want to rise against from the ground. We want to activate that ball of the foot and continue putting that consistent weight on the front foot. Think about as if you want to move forward, but you're blocked. You can't move forward. That's how it feels like. So soft inhale, full exhale out. Your foot is cooking right now. It should work like really, really hard. So continue keeping the knees soft. I don't want to see any locked knees. Keep it really soft. We're going to keep going for one more breath. Soft inhale. Nice, good exhale. Find that center even more. One more. And then we're fully stepping forward. Okay? You should feel your foot working really, really hard, but I cannot emphasize enough to keep the knees soft. It's really important. So now we're going to go to the other side. Again, we're starting on a narrower step. Looking down, feet are fully parallel. We're going to give yourself a nice exhale. So So we find that center in the body, we feel solid, and feeling as if there's a string attached to the back of our head pulling you up. We find that beautiful length in the body, and we try our best to maintain it with the support of our core. Now we're going to reach, soft inhale, nice long exhale. Screw that front heel down to the ground, and then we slowly beginning to put more weight on the front foot. Okay, so remember, you're not clawing your toes remain relaxed. We want to divert the body weight or distribute part of our body weight to the ball of our foot, not our toes. Okay, so when you feel that ball of the foot activating or the forefoot activating, I want you to hold it in that position and continue with your inhale and exhale. And think about it as if you're pressing that ball of the foot down to the ground in a way that you're rising against the gravity. Give yourself another nice inhale. Remember, the knee remains soft. Give yourself a nice full exhale out. And fully step forward. Okay. So keep that knee really, really soft there. Okay. So now we're going to go for some upper body work. So we're going to do an activation and then some rotation. So this is a good time. If you've been active for a while and you want to pick up weights, you can definitely do that, but you don't have to. I'll show both alternatives. It's completely up to you. Without a weight, you could still benefit a lot from this exercise. So we're going to go into a hip hinge position. We're going for back row. So think about, like, when we're going for a hip hinge, so a lot of people either lock their knees out and then do this. I want the knee to remain soft, but also a lot of people bend the knee too much and then sink themselves into their, between their legs. So I don't want that to happen. So there's a gentle softness in the knee. And from there, we're going to shift that hip back and we can stay here. Okay? And then now we let our arms hanging down, really relaxed. And then think about your foot. We already warmed up the foot, right? So now I want you to get as much support as you can from your foot. Let your foot fully sink into the ground. Stabilize as much as possible. And then think about your hip. Stay stabilized. So I'll show you the exercise. So we're going to reach here. You probably, a lot of you, if you've been active, you've been doing back row before. So, but we're going to do it with a slight twist. We want to add that rotation to the body. So one side is reaching, the other side is pulling. One side is reaching and the other side is pulling, but I'm not moving my hips side to side. That's really important. I show you from this angle as well. So feet parallel, like I'm in that hinge position. So I'm pulling in, out. So at some point, my hands are crossing one another, okay? So because I don't want you to do one and then this, one and that. So there's this nice dance between both sides. So remember, I don't want the knee to be bent too much. We want to keep the knee soft. And think about you shifting that hip back and creating that nice alternation. If you fancy to incorporate the breath into this work, on the left reach, we inhale. On the right, we exhale. On the left reach, behind our heart, and then exhale. So take your time. If you've got lower back issues and this doesn't feel comfortable, you can always lean against the wall so you can take a little bit of a pressure off of your lower back as you're doing this exercise. So if you've been doing this for a while, still I recommend going for a lower weight so you can really focus on that rotation. And your head is not following it. Your head and your spine is the anchor, and we're moving side to side along the anchor. So take your time. So make sure your pelvis or your hips are not rotating. We're really stabilizing. Your feet and your pelvis are your station. That's where you ground yourself. And then from there, we're creating that nice, beautiful rotation. So we're here for one more. And then you can slowly come out. Take a nice soft inhale. So now we're gonna tap that up. Again, if you need a quick break, feel free to take your time. You don't need to rush to the next exercise. So you can take a break as I'm explaining, or you could follow along as I'm explaining as well. So this time we're gonna go a little bit wider stance. Some of you might be familiar with the idea of lunges. Well, we are not gonna go on a deep lunge position. What I want is, once again, we carry more weight on the front foot, but I don't need to be all the way down, okay? So we want to create more pressure on the foot as much as possible. So think about you're on a wider stand, and then you're presenting your hip forward, and you're more towards the front leg, okay? Again, if you've got knee problems, you can always stay a little bit further back, or you could think about screwing that heel in, so you're using your whole foot to support you, okay? So when we got to that position, if you've got a yoga block, you can grab it, but if you don't, that's completely okay. So we're gonna create that reach in this nice, beautiful position. So once again, we're gonna have everything fully solid on the ground, as stable as possible. Create that reach. We're gonna slowly rotate, but see, my hip is not following along. What happens is my foot is supporting me to stabilize as much as possible. You will sense your foot a lot more. Take your time. There is no movement in the hips. We're gonna stabilize as much as possible. Think about you're just moving your torso over. So take your time, slow and nice, soft breath in. I'm sweating, I'm not sure how you're feeling. It's really hot here. So take your time, nice, soft inhale. Keep pushing that ball of the foot down to the ground. Stay active on the foot. Let those feet come alive and support you. Okay, take your time. So the goal is not how far you can go. If you're going out and you feel this and your torso doesn't follow along, so then go less. So I want you to feel like your arms and your torso are rotating all together as a nice synced unit. Good, and when you're done, fully step forward. Okay? Nice work. We're going to slowly go to the other side. So again, start on a bigger step. And the other thing that I'm going to address a little bit, so on the back leg, so I want you to feel like your heel is lifted off the ground. So many people, because they don't have that, they're not used to getting that support from their toes. So they don't get enough support from the toes. What they do this, and that's a lot of pressure on the ankle. So try to think about as if you're pushing the ground down and back, okay? As if you're splitting the ground. The heel is heavy and the toes are putting down and push the ground away, okay? Like really feel that force of your foot, your feet, both feet on the ground to support you. So we get into that position. Again, we're creating that reach. Remember, soft inhale, soft inhale, soft inhale. And get as much exhale as you can so you can feel solid in your core, feeling fully stable, even though you might be shaky, but you are stable, shaky. So take your time, control. Soft inhale. Nice long exhale. So let your pelvis be fully stable, your feet on the ground supporting you. So think about your arms are moving and your torso is moving with it as well. And at this point, some of you, if you get tired, you start activating your traps a lot or your neck. I want you to be aware that you can relax them. You don't need them right now. You've got other muscles to support you here. And you've got, most importantly, you've got your breath supporting you here. So we're going to start with our back row once again. If you want to pick up your weight, you can, or you could just use your arms and driving back into our hinge, feeling really solid in our feet. So we're going to start creating that nice, beautiful reach and pull at the same time. If you want to sync it with your breath, inhale on the left, exhale as we switch to the right. So keep going. So nice work, take your time. Soft inhale on the left, exhale as we're going to the right. Great work, everybody. We're here for 2 more. Remember, your knees are soft but not too bent. Okay, good. So now we're going to go for our rotation. One foot in the front, the other foot in the back. We're going to go slightly wider. So again, try your best to create some solid force from the toes in the back leg and solid force on the whole foot in the front. We're going to screw that heel in and then slowly thinking that we're putting more weight on the front foot. So creating that nice reach, soft inhale. You're going to do some nice rotation. So take your time. I want you to think you're fully stable on the ground beneath you. You keep pushing and activating that foot down as if you want to rise against it. And we're not letting the hips move side to side too much. Good. Let's do one more here. And when you're done, fully step forward. Good. So we're going to go to the other side. So one foot in the front. We're going to get support from both feet. At this point, you know I've been repeating myself. So create that reach. Nice soft inhale. And slowly create that nice rotation. As controlled as possible. Feeling that ground beneath you. Allowing your arm and your torso are moving together as a unit, rather than your arms going faster. Good. Feel that like your base is solid and you're nicely rotating on top. So we're here for one more. Good. And then fully step forward, completely step forward. Great work, everybody. Nice job. Okay, if you want to grab a sip of water, do that. I want you to take a moment before you lie down on the ground. I want you to feel like your heart rate is slowed down. And for us to get to that point, I want you to focus on your exhale a little bit more. Probably your inhale is rushed if your heart rate is high up. So I want you to give yourself a nice exhale through the nose this time. So nice inhale. Nice, beautiful exhale. Don't focus too much on your inhale because that naturally happens if your heart rate is too high up. Focus on exhale through the nose. And take a few seconds. As soon as you feel like your heart rate is dropping down, start transitioning to your lower back. So then slowly begin transitioning to the ground. So think about feeling your bum on the ground, not your lower back. I don't want you to press your lower back to the ground. If your lower back is already on the ground, then I don't want you to arch it or anything, but I want you to feel your bum a little bit more. And then without flattening or pressing your lower back down to the ground, I want you to grab your knees and create a nice stretch on your bum. Remember, we're not pressing our lower back down to the ground. The stretch is not as big, but it feels really good on your bums. So give yourself a nice soft inhale here and a nice long exhale. And on the next inhale, see if you can pull it a little bit further in without flattening your lower back, maybe increasing the stretch just a little bit more. And give yourself another nice exhale. On the next inhale, pull the knee completely in. Maybe you want to go a little bit side to side. And then if you don't have neighbors, you could slam your feet down to the ground, feel your spine slide up and down, grab it one more time, maybe slam it for 3 to 5 times. And as you do that, feel your spine arriving to the ground and feel all the tension beginning to melt down to the surface beneath you. So let's do that one more time. And then when you feel ready, slowly let your feet arrive to the mat, arms open on the side, feeling the parts of your body that are touching the mat beneath you. If you need support here, if you want to get a cushion for your head, do that. If you need anything to grab, like, feel free to grab it. As we are arriving to the mat and feeling our back body touching the ground beneath us, can you let yourself breathe so softly as if your breath is happening for you? Allowing yourself to fully receive your own breath. Can you open yourself up to receive your own breath with as little resistance as you possibly can? Can you let your breath become effortless even more? And as you continue playing with resistance in your breath, I want you to feel the gravity beneath you. This is the moment that the gravity is here to support you fully. Even if you fall, you're not going to fall that far. You are fully supported with the ground beneath you. Allow yourself to sense every single part of your body that are touching the ground. And can you allow it to sink into the ground and move towards the gravity just a little bit more? And can you allow your breath to become even softer? As you do that, allow the back of your head sink into the ground just a little bit more. Feel your chin go just a little bit higher up towards the ceiling, and at the same time feel your ears move away from your shoulders, and sense a softening washing over your neck and traps. Allowing your thoughts move towards the gravity and rest on the back of your head. Allow your eyes to move towards the gravity and rest on the back of your head. And see if you can close your eyes one more time and feeling a gentle softness washing over your eyes, down to your cheekbones, down to your jaw, to your ears, to the sides of your neck, to the base of your skull, where your head meets your neck. As you continue keeping your chin up and feeling the length in the back of your neck, can you sense that softening washing over the base of your skull without you pressing it down, just allowing the gravity take away the tension and allowing the softness continue move down into your arms, into the palms of your hands, down to your chest, and feeling a gentle expansion arrive into your heart. Allow your breath to this time expand your heart, feeling your heart taking a bigger, nicer space in the middle of your heart, in the middle of your chest. And as you exhale, let your rib come down and in as if you're closing the best gift you've been given, enclosing the best gift you've been given, securing your heart placing, and continue maintaining that heart space as you feel that nice engagement in your core, that strong core, that support that exists in your belly. And feel a nice softening wash over every single organ in your belly. And that softness move down into your pelvis, into your pelvic floor. Move into every single muscles around it, to your bum, down through your legs, your knees, your shins, your calves, your feet, and feel as if your legs are being lengthened away from your pelvis. Sense this lengthening being created, and as you feel that length in your legs, feel your spine arriving to the mat even more, feeling a gentle length being created from the base of your spine, slowly up to your mid-back, up to your upper back, to your neck, all the way to the back of your head. And allowing these two lengths coexist, co-create the space that you're allowed to take in your body, and let yourself breathe deeply into that space. As if you're allowing the breath to show you that you're allowed to take this space. You belong here, into your body. And on the next soft inhale, slowly bring yourself back to the room you're in. Bring gentle, tiny little motion into your fingertips, into your toes, into your body, and slowly come out whenever you're ready. There is no rush. Take your time.